Hi guys, happy Friday. I'm gonna give y'all time to log in. I know y'all ain't working today, it's Friday. Some of y'all probably already checked out. It's like the work week is officially over. Some of you might be on lunch break. You want to hop on the live and talk about this issue with Jussie Smollett. I was gonna call him the wrong name. Too much Dave Chappelle skits. But yes, I wanted to hop on the live and talk about the recent sentencing of Jussie Smollett yesterday. He's getting some jail time, y'all. Did y'all predict that? We're gonna talk a little bit about the whole situation that started 3 years ago and kind of the whirlwind that's happened leading up to yesterday's sentencing. He got 150 days in jail, but I don't want to jump the gun. I'm going to give people a little time to hop on the live, and then you might be catching on the replay. That's fine. We're going to talk all about it. Make sure you comment below. If you're not already subscribed to TXT Tells All, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up so that this video can be shared with more people on the YouTube channel. I'm going to give y'all a couple more minutes and then I'm going to hop right into it. This is not going to be a long one. We're going to get to the points. I'm going to see if there's any comments from the peanut gallery. That'll be y'all. And then we'll get right in and get out. And you guys can get back to work or start on your weekend. I know spring break starts for a lot of the kids throughout the country. Let me know if you have any spring break plans. You're staying put. I know COVID is not officially over, but I know some people are excited to kind of move around the country or out of the country now that the mask restrictions have been lifted. So let me know if you have any plans in the comment section. Check in our TXT Tells All crew, and we're going to get to it. I'll give 1 more minute, and then I'm going to get right to it. Do a little rundown. Let me know who's on today. And I'm doing it at a different time because we used to do it later in the evening, but I want to kind of see which is the best time for you guys. It might be depending on the day, so we'll see. We shall see. Who we got on here today? Who got? Check in. Y'all call him Jussie Smollett. Yeah, it's an inside joke for those of you who follow Dave Chappelle and his little skit. That's what this man been calling him, and so I can't even look at it correctly. Say it correctly sometimes. I always think about Jussie in my head, but his name is Jussie Smollett, and he's the brother of Jurnee Smollett, who played in a lot of movies, but they both have claim to fame in their own right. So. All right, let's get into it. All right, so let me turn the music down a little bit. Will give us a little ambiance, but just a little bit. All right, so Jussie Smollett is an actor from the show Empire. That's what his basically claim to fame is. He has he's a great singer, I guess, too. But it started out with Empire, and I used to watch Empire. It was a Foxx channel television show. It starred, what's her name? Taraji Henson. Taraji Henson played the girlfriend of Terrence Howard, and then they had this whole empire of like a musical empire, and Jussie Smollett was one of the sons to this empire, right? So it was a toxic relationship, whatever. He had a claim to fame because he was actually a good singer, like in real life too. So that was his claim to fame on Empire. It had a few good seasons. It was well received by many people. It had just the right of drama and toxicity that everybody wanted to see, so it did really well. And then fast forward to January 2019, right? January 2019, this show is being shot, I believe, in Chicago, Illinois. He's not originally from there, but it was being shot there, so he was living there at the time while he was doing shootings. And he said, this is what he claims, he went out in the late night hours, almost like midnight or somewhere late at night, to the subway near his building, and he was assaulted by 2 unidentified people who were wearing MAGA hats, right? And they put a noose around his neck. He called for help. When the police got there, he still had the noose around his neck and was saying like it was a hate crime. They yelled like some racial epithets at him, he says, and he was just distraught, right? So he called the police about that. So I'll back up a little bit because he was outside of Empire. He was very vocal in his criticism of our, at the time, sitting President Trump, right? He was very vocal in like his criticism of him. So the fact that he said these people were in MAGA hat was significant because he was saying there was kind of backlash against him for him speaking out on social media about Trump. Also, in his real life, he's actually a member of the LGBTQI community, right? So he said it was racially motivated, and he said it was a homophobic assault on him. So it was a hate crime, right? So the police were investigating it. Everybody was coming out on social media in support of him, like, this is not right. People shouldn't be attacking people when they're trying to just go to the store to get food. Well, not everybody, right? Some people automatically questioned what was going on. He didn't get the outward support from certain groups. And that is a good segue into the Dave Chappelle skit. So Dave Chappelle did a stand-up skit where he talked about Jussie Smollett, is how he called him, and said that Black people didn't believe him when the story first came out. He's like, we didn't believe it. The story didn't make sense. It was too many missing pieces. It didn't make sense, right? So he said, we didn't believe him. At the time, people were kind of like going back and forth. It was divided. Taraji Henson, his co-star, believed him, was showing support, outwardly showing support on social media. And you have people who were very like, this is not right. This is a hate crime, prosecuted to the fullest, right? Fast forward as they get into the investigation a little more, they find out there's been some problems. Comment in the comment section if you question the validity of it when it first happened. Comment in the comment section. But yeah, people were basically questioning it because it come to find out there were two, I think, Nigerian brothers who became suspects, and they had flown out after this whole incident. They were out of the country. They ended up like bringing them back to question them about it. And as soon as they started talking, Jussie Smollett's story started to fall apart, right? Because they said that he hired them. I think they were personal trainers, and he hired them to do this attack. Somehow he also had some sexual relationship with one of them or both of them, I don't know. And so now he's looking crazy because they're like, sir, you just said these people attacked you, and they're saying that you actually paid them. There was evidence, there was a money trail. He explained it because he said, oh, I hired them to train me for, to get my body in shape. They said no, it was for an illegal purpose, right? It was a lot of going back and forth. So then, okay, they decided to say, okay, just drop the case, right? Because they find that he lied to police. Like, your stories weren't adding up. You lied to police. We're gonna let it go. This is not a hate crime. This is something that you did. We're gonna let it go. The prosecuting attorney decided to let it go, but somehow there was a lot of political pressure for them to actually prosecute Jussie Smollett because they said he wasted a lot of resources, state resources, to investigate this crime. No, we want to prosecute to the fullest. And they gave him opportunity, like, say that you were lying, this all go away. He did, right? So let me bring up on the screen too, because the state's attorney general, Kim Foxx, shared what she thought. She didn't think that it should have been prosecuted, right? She felt like, no, he's already paid enough because this is a picture of Jussie Smollett, right? She felt that he paid enough with his reputation after all this happened that it shouldn't have been prosecuted, right? But political pressure had to bow. They ended up prosecuting him, charging him with felony, lying to the police, right? So what she feels at this time is like, you guys wasted. She said, okay, let's say he was lying to the police. He paid for it with his reputation because now everybody's looking at him crazy, and he had to pay like a $10,000 fine or some kind of fine, whatever. Fast forward, prosecuting him used resources for the state, cost millions of dollars to go through this whole trial to prove that he was guilty of lying to the police. Cost a lot more money to prosecute him just to prove what? Like, they felt like your resources could have been better served somewhere else, right? She didn't say he was innocent. She just said it was a waste of resources to kind of do that. Like, is this what justice looks like? So let me go back. So that was her opinion of it, right? So I think it's hard to believe what I should believe about it, right? So after the judge ended up sentencing yesterday, he got jail time. He had 150 days in jail. He got a fine, and he also had to pay restitution of over $120,000, right? All these things. After the judge gave the sentence, he asked Jussie if he had anything to say. And Jussie had a big outburst, and he was like, I just want to say, I respect this process. I respect you, Judge, but I just want to tell everybody, I am not suicidal. Now, if anybody has been watching the last few years, this statement, so I saw all the news outlets with someone like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? And he said, they talked to his family later, and they said that was his way of telling us he was okay. And I said, these news outlets don't keep up with this. Like, in the last few years, Black people have died in jail. There's been like an uptick in Black people have been arrested and died in jail, like suicide and hanging. And people are saying, no, it wasn't suicide. So for a while, people were making that their social media, like hashtag I'm not suicidal, because they wanted to say this was a miscarriage of justice. Like, these people were killed in jail. They weren't like killing themselves. So that was, I believe, his statement to say, like, if I end up dead, it wasn't because I was suicidal and I killed myself. It was somebody killed me. That was his last like plea to everybody. Like, let me just let you know. Okay. So it was kind of interesting to me that the news outlets didn't know this. Like, y'all don't keep up with this. Like, this is what is happening. Like, Black people have been out here because they like, it was happening so often. The Sandra Bland case, that was in Texas, where she ended up dead, and they said she, committed suicide. And it was like, no, she didn't. She didn't commit suicide. And it was a string of people, right? And that's why he said it. But some people thought, he's an actor, right? So some people thought, oh, he's keeping up this act. Like, they don't believe him. They're like, why are you still lying to the last second? You just should have stopped lying, and you wouldn't even got to this point. Now you have to do hard jail time, right? His attorneys asked, when they put this, when the judge announced the sentence, his attorneys, rightfully so, they on the record, they said they're going to file the appeal, and they asked that the judge stay the jail sentence until the appeal was decided. And usually that's what you have the option to ask for that, because it's like, okay, if the appellate court overrules this conviction, then why am I sitting in jail? Like, okay, if they confirm it, then I'll do my jail time. But if they're going to overrule it, why do I need to serve my jail sentence now? The judge is like, no, he's going to jail today. We're not saying anything. Thank you for filing your appeal. You can file your appeal, but he's still going to jail today, right? So even if it gets overturned in the process, and let's say it gets overturned after he finishes the jail sentence, he would have went to jail for no reason, right? But so that's what the attorneys rightfully did. So, like, from an attorney perspective, they had to do that. Otherwise, they would consider like this malpractice. Like, you're supposed to do that on behalf of your client. So I just want to. It begs the question though, like, did he really commit like perjury? Did he really lie to the police? Like, this is a whole orchestrated story, and for what did he gain from it? I'm a little confused about it, because I want to believe you, but you've been found guilty. Doesn't mean he is guilty, because we've seen there's plenty of innocent people sadly sitting in jail, right? The Innocence Project wouldn't be in existence if there wasn't innocent people sitting in jail. But the evidence doesn't look too favorable, sir. You got a lot of explaining to do. And that's where kind of I'm sitting here like, okay, I would feel bad if I was in his position. I would feel bad if I know I was innocent and I'm being put railroaded and put in jail for something I did not do. Like, I called the police and then they end up putting me in jail for me being a victim of hate crime. Yes, I would feel like that's a great miscarriage of justice, right? The flip side is you orchestrated all this to kind of like your career was going so well. Empire was doing great. Your acting career was going to pick off because you were part of the Empire, the Empire Nation, I guess, right? So now your career probably will pick up. What was the need to kind of like do this? Like, for fame? I know you didn't like Trump to add the whole MAGA hats in there. why did you leave the noose on your neck after you called the police? Like, the people said the reasonable person would have taken the noose off their head and like not had it on by the time the police got there. He had it on like it was almost like a showing of like what was going on. Like, it was very confusing. So I don't know. I can totally understand why people are like questioning whether this really happened to him. But he didn't give good enough answers for them to say like, no, you're not guilty. You lied to the police, and he has felony probation as well in regards to this. So now you have like all of this from something that you orchestrated. Yeah, like it was kind of like, what is it? Life imitating art imitating life, whatever. This is real life, and you're going to real jail because of something that you possibly orchestrated, or if you're on the other side and one of his supporters, an innocent person is going to jail for 100. Well, I'll mention he got 150-day sentence. Usually people don't spend their total sentence in jail because there's overcrowding in jail. So you have to usually spend a portion of your sentence. So you may have to do like half that time in the county jail. And the county jails are not fun. They're nasty. Not that jail, like prisons are better, but sometimes, there's more funding for the prisons versus county jails. Like, that's a lot online. I've never been to jail in the capacity of a prisoner. Like, I've been there to represent people, not in capacity of prisoner. If I was innocent and I was sent to jail, I would be like going crazy. He was weirdly composed when the judge announced the sentence. Granted, his attorneys might have prepped him for this, right? Like, you may be in a jail sentence, prepped him for it so he wouldn't be too emotional when he heard it. But I would have lost my mind. Like, I'm going to jail if I was innocent. Oh my God, I'm going to jail. Oh my God, what am I do? I gotta go take showers with people I don't know. I'm sleeping on a schedule. I'm behind. I can't move freely. This is a tarnish on my reputation, on my criminal background now. Like, it's a lot. So I don't know. What you guys think? I know I tried to put on both hats. Like I always tell you, if you watch this channel, I try to think of it from both sides. This one was a hard one. For some people, though, it wasn't. They're like, good, you need to go to jail. Lying behind. That's what some people thought. Not me. I really was like, I still got some questions. So let me know if you feel that way. But yeah, that's what I think about it. So let me know in the comment section. I just wanted to give you kind of an update on what's going on, if you've been following it, or, it's been a while since it first happened, 3 years. So some of you may not have been recently following it, but that's the latest update on the Jussie Smollett case. I don't know if Dave Chappelle is going to do another skit in response to this, because, the first skit he did was, a little while ago, but he wasn't one of the supporters of Believers. He's like, nah, he lying. So anyway, all right, happy Friday, guys. Enjoy your spring break if that's what you're going to be doing, or enjoy the rest of your work day. Get back to work. Today is my off day from my regular job, but I have other stuff to do. So we'll see you next week on Monday. Tracy and I are going to do another live, so make sure you tune in if you want to see both of us on Monday. We're going to do it at 6 p.m. Central Time. That'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, see you next time.